Hello again from my front porch. I want to chat a bit about some travel tips. Now these are not things that they're not genius level kind of things, but some of them were things that I hadn't really thought about before I have been doing more traveling, like I have been for work. And so I've picked up a few things, and I thought, you know what, I'll just pass these on because they have so incredibly radically changed my experiences as a traveler. See, the way I used to travel, when I'd fly, is that I would stress about getting to the airport a good 2 hours ahead of my flight, sometimes even more than that, depending on what city I might be flying out of or something. And the reason being is because I had to go stand in line to go get my boarding pass, to check my luggage. Then I had to go get in the security line, and again, depending on the airport and the time of day, that might be a slow process, and then all that. And then once you get through security, then you got to go find your gate. Now, if you're at a Des Moines airport or something where things are kind of small, kind of compressed, it's not such a big deal. But if you're at some of these other airports you go to that have 7, 8, 9 concourses full of different gates, and you got to go from this concourse to way at the other extreme, and then maybe all the way down the concourse to your gate. There's a lot of time gets eaten up there too. And so I was always panicked that I needed to get there with plenty of time. I'd rather be sitting and waiting at the gate than to be stressed because I'm stuck in the security line or something and my flight is getting ready to board and take off. So that was what travel used to be like for me. But I have now picked up a few things. Now, one of the things is something I actually had already been doing, and it just kind of plays into some of this too, and that's car rentals. So let me start with that one because chronologically it would be the first one technically. Back early 2000s, 2005, 2006, I was working for MetLife Annuity Operations based out in West Des Moines here, and I was a trainer, and we traveled. We went to other cities, went to Denver and Tampa and Hartford, Connecticut, places like that. Point is, MetLife had a deal with National Car Rental, Enterprise and National, where all of us who traveled were given a membership in what they call the Emerald Club. It's with National Car Rental, and what the gist of it is that you are renting as an Emerald Club member, and you show up. Generally, this is at airport rental places, but you show up, and rather than having to go through all of the stuff at the desk where you're registering for the car and getting it, you're able to go out just to where there's this emerald aisle is, where there's cars, and you're able to just go out and just pick one there, get in it, drive it away. On the way out of the lot, there's someone there who checks and confirms, yeah, your ID and your credit card number, and you are an Emerald Club member, and then they process it and you take off much quicker. Because I have also rented cars the other way, like just for personal use and stuff, where we went to local Enterprise location here. They don't have Emerald Club aisle, and so when you showed up there, you went through the standard process. You go in, you give them your information, they tell you, well, we got this car, you go out, you take a look at it, you walk around it, check stuff off, examine, give you paperwork, and it's not painful, but it's a little bit of time. It's a little time involved with that. Well, the Emerald Club thing, you get to skip that. You get, again, especially when you're flying into airports where they have these car lot areas where all these are. And I've increasingly now with my traveling, I've gotten tremendous use out of that, because now I will reserve the car in advance. What I reserve is I go out to National's website and I log in with my Emerald Club membership, and I don't reserve a specific type of car. I reserve an Emerald Club aisle car, and there's just a flat fee for that, flat rate, and that's it. I make that reservation for the date and time, pick up and return, but for Emerald Aisle car. And so then when I show up, I don't even have to go check in at the desk. I just walk out to the parking lot and I just go to where they're marked Emerald Aisle and get in the car I want and take off. And so if you don't do that, if you travel a lot and you rent cars, I would encourage you, definitely look into something like that. Now, I'm sure other car companies do similar kinds of things. I just have great experience with National, with what they do with this Emerald Isle thing, and so I highly recommend it. But whatever car rental company you like, check into it. I bet they have a similar program, and that can save you a lot of time. So that's one thing. That's related to travel. But let's go back to the air travel thing, because I told you the scenario about how time-consuming that was and stressful and all those kind of things. My new approaches have gotten to the point where I'm not even exaggerating. The last couple of flights, I didn't even get to the airport until an hour before the flight was supposed to take off. Not board, but depart. I was there an hour before that time, and I still was at the gate before they even started boarding. Okay, so in other words, it's only been taking me maybe half an hour to get all the way through to get into the airport, get through security, and get to the gate. 20 to 30 minutes to do all that. Mind-blowing from where I was before. How am I making all this possible? Well, there are two main things. Number one, I've started using the app for the airline. If you travel, download the app for the airline that you're flying on and log in there before the day of the flight, like in advance. In fact, I just have downloaded to my phone. I have the apps for all the major airlines: Delta, United, JetBlue. I don't know. They're all in there. Delta and United are two. American, we've used that one as well sometimes. But Delta and United are the primary ones that I've made use of. And but still, I've got all those apps already loaded onto my phone, and so then when I booked the flight and stuff, and I've logged in, I'm all registered in the app. When it's like 24 hours before the flight, I'm able to go into the app, and I'm able to sign in to register for the flight, to confirm that yes, I'm checking in for my flight. When I do that, I am immediately able to get the boarding pass right there on my phone. I don't have to go to a desk at the airport to print one out. I don't have to go to a kiosk at the airport to print one out. It's right there on my phone in the app. More than that, if I needed to check a bag, I'm able to do all that in the app too. I'm able to say I need to check a bag or a couple of bags, and then I can pay the fee and do all that right there. Now, that is one little wrinkle, depending on what airport you're flying out of. Some airports, even if you do that in the app, you still have to go to a counter somewhere to give them the bag, to physically put a tag on it and carry it away. Now, some airports, they have a little more efficient, where you have to go up to a kiosk yourself and you put in your confirmation number or whatever, you scan your boarding pass thing, whatever, and then it will print the tag for you, and then you can put it on yourself, but you still have to take it to somebody, leave it with somebody, and that can be a little time constraint. What I've learned to do is just pack a bag in such a way that it doesn't have to be checked, that I can take it through security. So that means being mindful of stuff that TSA, is not going to have a cow over. And I've also learned how to really compress my packing too. So instead of having to take a big rollaway, I'm able to take a small rolling bag thing. And so, I'm able to be smarter about my packing in that way, because then I'm able to just take it with me to the gate. When I can take it to the gate, almost every single airline at the gate, they will do an announcement saying, we're, so small flights, gonna be crowded, blah, blah, blah. So we're looking for people to voluntarily check their bag at no cost to you. See, if I check the bag in advance, I have to pay $30 each way, to check the bag. But if I take it through security with me and give it to the folks at the gate, they'll let me bag check it there for free. So now I've saved money. But I have to get it through security too, so I have to be mindful of what goes into that. And that leads me to the other piece that has proven very, very worthwhile, and that is the TSA pre-check thing. Now, I've been aware of the TSA pre-check for quite a while, but I'd always been dismissive of it. I'd always been like, yeah, that's something that other people do, that, rich people and, people that are, I don't know, they're upper echelon business people. Well, I guess maybe that's me now. I don't know. But all I know is I finally bit the bullet and when the process is not easy. It's not tough either, but it's got some hurdles you jump through. You go online and you apply, fill out a thing online, and then they send you an email that says, here is the date and time and location where you're going to get your interview done. Now, the interview is not tough. It's not like a citizenship interview or something like that. They basically just confirm that you're you. You have to take in documentation like your official birth certificate, not just something from the hospital, but actual, your legal birth certificate, some ID, things like that, verifying that you are who you are. They take your picture, you sign the documents in their presence, that kind of stuff. But and you pay $85, but the TSA pre-check thing is also good for 5 years. So, which actually is cheaper. For some reason, I had in my head that this TSA pre-check thing was going to be like hundreds of dollars to do, but it's only $85. And again, it's good for 5 years. So anyway, they tell you this is the day and time and place that you're supposed to. You don't get to choose. You don't get to say, this is when I'd like to have it. They just tell you when it's going to be. And if you can't do it, you can ask for another time, but they'll just, again, assign you another time. You don't get a say. And so you go there, you do your thing, and then they tell you when you're done with that. And then they fingerprint you too. They do all that stuff there. But then they tell you it may be up to 30 days before the year, because they're going to do a whole background check on you. All the intelligence agencies are going to check you out to see are you a risk. And they tell you it may take up to 30 days. In my case, I did it on a Friday, and by that following Monday afternoon, I got my email here saying I was approved, and here's my known travel ID number. So apparently I was a low risk. So anyway, you go through all that, then you get your known travel ID number, then you make sure you enter that whenever you're booking a ticket. You make sure to put that in there, or you just enter it into some of the airline apps have a place in the app where you can enter that number right in there, so it's just always there. Because when the airline then knows that information, you go in, you book your reservation, you get it, you're looking at the app, it says it's time for you to check in, you say, okay, I'm going to check in, your boarding pass comes up automatically on the app, and then it will have printed right there on the app, right there on the screen on the phone, it will say TSA pre-check. It has to say that in order for you to be able to use it. But here's the benefit of that. If you've ever gone to an amusement park and you've stood in the long, slow, winding line, it's a pain in the butt, because you spend most of your time standing in line just to get on a ride that's going to be done that fast. Meanwhile, if you pay extra, usually like $150 a person, which is why a lot of people don't do it, you can get what they call an express pass. And that allows you to go into a much shorter, much quicker line that goes around the whole big mob that's standing in line and get you onto the ride quicker. The value of that, now, again, it costs a chunk of money up front, but the value is you greatly minimize how much time you spend standing in line, and instead you spend more time on the rides and doing stuff like that. So I will never, I've done it now in amusement parks 2 or 3 times where we're invested that money, and I will never ever again go to an amusement park that has the express pass option and not purchase those. It's foolish to not do that. And so that same mentality finally drove me to do the TSA pre-check thing, because it really is the same concept. That you show up to go through security, and instead of having to go through the long and winding line and the big bulk of people that, again, depending on the airport and the time of day, that could be a large, slow-moving group of people. You instead go over here to this line that says TSA pre-check, and there's rarely, if ever, a line at all. And if there is a line, it's a very short line, and it moves very fast. No exaggeration. From my experience has been, from the time that I show my ID and my boarding pass, it says TSA pre-check on it, and I show those 2 things, from the time I show those to the person at the counter until I'm all the way through security and grabbing my bags off the conveyor belt and heading to my gate, a minute. It just blows my mind. And part of the reason it's so fast is excuse me, you don't have to go through the whole body scanner thing where you stand there and do this kind of thing. You should go through a standard metal detector. And you don't have to take everything out of your bag. Like, you don't have to take laptops out of it. You don't have to take off your shoes and your belt and all this kind of, you just put your bags up on the conveyor belt. You make sure your pockets are empty. And so, like in my case, on my rollaway bag, there's a front pocket, a front zippered pocket. And so I put my bag up on the table, and I take my wallet out of my pocket, put it in that slot. I take my cell phone off my belt, put it in the slot. I take my reading glasses, if I've got those, stick those in the slot. And now my pockets are empty. I don't have my cell phone on and stuff. I don't have to take my shoes off. I have to take my belt off. Leave, those things can stay on. I've stuck all that other stuff in the bag. I shove the bags on the conveyor belt. They go through, breeze. I walk through the metal detector, no problem. I then grab my bags on the other side. Boom, I'm off on. I put wallet and phone bag on and stuff. But then boom, I'm off to my gate, and that's it. That's all it takes. Literally, I now spend more time walking from security to my gate than I do anything else in that process, which is completely backwards of the way that traditionally had always been. Traditionally, they would have at least been equal in time, but the other stuff probably would have been longer, depending on the airport. So now it actually, it's positive and negative, because it is nice, but the downside is it's kind of making me a little bit lazy too, because remember, I said I used to be really obsessive about, I've got to be there 2 hours beforehand or more. Now, the last couple of times I've flown, I haven't shown up at the airport until an hour before the flight was supposed to take off. Not board, but take off. And so, I probably shouldn't. I probably need to get out of that habit, because I'm probably going to get burned at some point that way. But mostly, if I go to an airport where there's a great deal of a distance that I have to do, if they have a lot of terminals, and so I don't know. I'll worry about that. Cross that bridge when I come to it. But point is, the whole process is now so much easier, so much less stressful, and so much faster, because I use the app to check in. I pack my bags so that I don't have to check any bags. I can take them with me. Use a TSA pre-check to just breeze on through security, and then even when I arrive at my destination, and then check my rollaway bag at the gate. So I don't have to worry. I don't have to pay for that, and I don't have to worry about trying to find a place in the plane and fighting to put it up overhead stuff, because I just leave it with them. They take care of it. And then when I get to my destination, I have the Emerald Club thing, so I go out, walk right out, and just get my car and then drive away in it. So I mean, this whole travel process for me has become just such a breeze, such a piece of cake. And so the purpose of this episode was just to pass on some of that insight. Again, if you're someone who travels even moderately, I would encourage you to look into all of those things: the app, the TSA pre-check, looking for National Emerald Club, or whatever the similar program is for the car rental company that you like, whatever it is. Sign up for those things. Get those things. It is well worth your while. All right, that's it for now. I will see you all next time from my front porch.